Today, we are discussing another interesting topic in vibration analysis called modeling and analysis of multi-degree of freedom vibration system. Before starting the topic, we should have some basic idea about the concept of degree of freedom. The minimum number of independent coordinates required to specify the motion of a system at any instant is called degree of freedom. Look at the figure 1. Here the mass is connected to a spring and the spring is connected to a vertical reference plane. Now, the position of the mass m at any instant can be obtained by knowing the displacement x at time t, the corresponding time t. So x of t is the only parameter that decides the position of the mass m. Once you move to the figure 2, as long as the length of the pendulum remains constant, the angle theta at any time t decides the position of the mass m. So here, the position of the object at any instant is decided by only one parameter. In figure 1 of t and in figure 2 it is theta of t. So these type of systems where only one parameter is required to define the position of an object is called single degree of freedom system, SDOF system. Once you move to the higher level, that means multi-degree of freedom system, 2 degree of freedom system, that will be the simplest one. Consider figure 3 where you can see mass 1 is moving a distance of t or the time x1 of t and mass 2 is moving x2 of t. So at any time the position is decided by two parameters. So these type of systems are called 2 degree of freedom system. The same thing you can see in the next figure where there is a linear movement that is represented by x of x1 or x1 of t and the angular movement of the bob that is theta of t. So x1 of t and theta of t decides the position of the bob at any instant. That means these two figures are the classical examples of 2 degree of freedom system. Now, how to model this type of multi-degree of freedom system? Look the figure where mass 1 is connected with the spring K1 and K2, where the mass 2 is connected with the springs K2 and K3. To solve this problem, we have to start with the free body diagram. Free body diagram of mass 1, you can see there will be force as the body is touched, there will be a force K1 x1 that will be acting towards left. It will be pulling the body towards left. Similarly, the body is moving towards right by x1 and the body m2 is moving towards right x2. So depending on the magnitude of x1 and x2, either the spring is stretched or it is compressed. If you take x2 is greater than x1, then it will be elongating. Correspondingly, the spring K2 will pull the block m1 towards right. How much it will be acting on the body? It will be K2 into the difference between the displacement x2 minus x1, that is stretching. Correspondingly, the mass m1 will be pulled towards right. Then the body is moving towards right with a certain acceleration, so there will be inertia force. That inertia force is m1 x1 double dot. So this particular figure shows the free body diagram of m1. Writing the equations that balances the body, we can get m1 x1 double dot equal to minus k1 x1. The sign convention is any force acting towards right is positive and any force acting towards left is negative. So m1 x1 double dot equal to k1 x1 that is acting towards left, then k2 into x2 minus x1 acting towards right. Rearranging the equation, we will get m1 x1 double dot plus some coefficient of x1, then some another coefficient of x2 equal to 0. That is equation number 1. The same thing can be repeated for block number 2, where k3x2, that is actually x2 is moving towards right, means k3 is compressed. K3 compression will make the spring to act a force towards left on M2. So M2, K2x2 will be acting towards left. The inertia force definitely will be in the direction of the force applied displacement. So M2 x2 double dot. Then here there is an elongation for the spring K2. So it will be x2 minus x1 into K2, that will be acting towards left. So these are the three forces that acting on the body M2. Rearranging the equation, we get M2 x2 double dot plus some coefficient of x1, then the coefficient of x2 equal to 0. So these are the equations that decides the basic moment of the body. Now let us see how the equations are converted into matrix form. M1 x1 double dot plus k1 plus k2 x1 minus k2 x2 equal to 0. That was our equation number 1. Now to get the corresponding equation, in the matrix form, we have to represent it M1, then there is no M1 x2 term, so this will be 0. Here that is M2, no x1 term, it will be 0, then M2 x2 double dot. So this is the matrix representation of the first part. Similarly, how you represent the second and third term together, because both represents the parameter x1. So x1 and x2 will be in the column vector matrix, and here k1 plus k2 minus k2 minus k2, k2 plus k3, this will be the matrix corresponding to the coefficients of x1 and x2. So the sum of these two terms equal to 0. This is the expression of undamped free vibration. We are not considering any damping in this particular case. Now we have to get the modes and mode shapes. Actually, there are so many variables in this particular problem, x1, m1, m2, then k1, k2. So three different spring constants and two different masses are there. So what we are doing is we are reducing the number of parameters, k1 equal to k2 equal to k3 equal to k, then another one x1 and x2, like that we can solve it. Now this particular expression will be reduced in the form of 2k minus k minus k plus 2k. And what about this x1? x1, small x1 is x1 sin omega t, small x2, x2 sin omega t. We will get the corresponding acceleration x1 double dot and x2 double dot. So here mass matrix and stiffness matrix together we can write in this form, because in the previous matrix we got the expression for k and m separately. Combining together we will get this expression. Now what will be the solution of this particular equation? That will be the values of omega 1 and omega 2. To get the roots, we are finding the determinant of this coefficient matrix. So minus omega square m1 plus 2k, the first element, and minus omega square m2 plus 2k, that is the diagonally opposite element, minus k square equal to 0. So the term k square is missing, so minus k square equal to 0. So this is the expression. Now the roots of these equations, we say omega 1 square and omega 2 square, because this is a fourth degree equation. So substituting say omega square equal to some variable, then it will become a quadratic equation. The solution of the quadratic equation we can get minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. That will be the values of omega 1 square and omega 2 square. That means omega 1 will be, once you solve it, it will be root k by m, and omega 2 will be root 3k by m. That means Root k by m, that is the fundamental frequency, and multiple of fundamental frequency, that is root 3 times omega 1, that is omega 2. Now, amplitude ratio. Suppose you want to know how the movement happen once the body oscillate, then we can write this expression in terms of x1 and x2. What we are doing is x1 double dot is replacing by minus omega square x1, and x2 double dot, that is replaced by minus omega square x2. Then the corresponding ratios x1 by x2, that shows 1, because x1 by x2 in this particular equation, the first equation mode 1, if you take, you will get corresponding omega minus omega square m1 x1 plus 2k x1 minus k x2 equal to 0. Now x1 by x2, taking x1 in one side and the coefficients of x2 on the other side, we will get x1 by x2 equal to k divided by 2k minus m omega 1 square. Is omega 1 square root k by m. So m into k by m, that will be k itself. 2k minus k by k, that is 1. That means x1 and x2 will move in the same phase and same displacement. So it will act as a single body that is moving together. But in mode 2, omega 2 is root 3 divided by k by m. Root 3 k by m. Substituting the value of omega 2 as root of 3k by m. So the term will be 2k minus m into 3k by m, that is 2k minus, it will be 3k divided by m into m, that is 2k minus 3k divided by k, that is minus 1. It indicates that the body, one body moves towards right while the other body moves towards left. So the bodies m1 and m2 will be in the opposite phase, and the magnitude will also be the same. So that is the concept regarding the amplitude ratio. Now there is another interesting topic in vibration, that is called a semi-definite system. Semi-definite systems are defined such a way that one of the roots of that equation or the mode is 0. For example, in this particular figure, m1 and m2 are the two masses, and first body moving towards right with the x1 and the second body x2. The free body diagram we can easily draw. Only two forces will be there on each body. One is the inertia force, the other one will be the spring force. If x2 is greater than x1, x1 double dot equal to minus k, because this is elongating if x2 is greater than x1. So x2 minus x1 into k, that will be pulling the body towards right. So the expression you can get m1 x1 double dot plus k into x1 minus x2 equal to 0, and in the right side the same thing you can get for the body m2. Now the matrix can be formed k minus omega square, and here k minus m omega square. If you are taking both the masses are equal, then solve the equation, you will get the value of omega 1 equal to 0, either omega 1 equal to 0 or this omega 2 equal to root 2 k by m. That means one of the frequency in this particular problem is 0. That means the body does not oscillate. 0 means there is no movement for the body. So that type of systems are called semi-definite system. So in this particular presentation, we discussed the topic regarding the degree of freedom and single degree of freedom system, multi-degree of freedom system, how we can model a multi-degree of freedom system using matrix method, then finding the roots or the natural frequencies, modes of the multi-degree of freedom system, then amplitude ratio, that is mode shape, and finally we discuss the concept of semi-definite systems. Thank you for watching this video. We will come with another interesting topic in the next presentation.